Hello students, welcome to your English class. Today we are going to start a new chapter of the book Snapshot of Class 11. This is the second chapter of the book titled The Address, written by Marga Mingo. This short story is a poignant account of a daughter who goes in search of her mother's belongings after the war in Holland. Here the chapter is talking about Second World War. When she finds them, when she finds the belongings of her mother, the objects evoke memories of her earlier life. However, she decides to leave them all behind and resolves to move on. Move on. Decides to move on. So, what was the reason behind deciding this? Before coming to the story part, we will have a brief introduction of the chapter first. The Address by Marga Minko is a very touching story. It explores the working of a young mind in war times. During World War II, the Germans, who were the Nazis under Hitler, invaded Holland where 90% of the people were Jews. And as a matter of fact, everybody knows that Hitler hated Jews a lot and he wanted to kill them all. So the Holland was full of Jewish people and he wanted to capture all that people. That is why he invaded Holland. He attacked on Holland to kill all the Jews there. Many of the Jews fled in fear to other countries. Thousands were imprisoned in concentration camps. A woman and her little daughter had also to leave their home. The woman left all her things with a woman known to her. After some time, the woman died, who left the country with her daughter. She died. Her house was destroyed, which was in Holland. However, her daughter remembered the place where she used to live with her mother. Long after the war finished, she came to the town where she used to live with her mother. So she went to meet the woman with whom her mother had left all her things. There, when she came to the town back again in Holland, she went to meet that woman who was keeping all their belongings during the war time. But the woman refused to recognize her because she did not want to return the things she had taken. In the story, the daughter describes how she felt during the visit and later on the second visit to that woman's house and what she decided later about that address. So the story revolves around an address and it is the center part of the story which makes the daughter or the narrator of the story decides to do something else for her future. So let us have a little few lines summary before coming to the story part. The story begins with the narrators coming back to her country Holland after the war to see a woman or to meet a woman named Mrs. Darling. The narrator tells the lady that she is the daughter of Mrs. S and she has come to take her mother's belongings. The lady is surprised to see the narrator and hides herself behind the door, denying knowing anybody by the name Mrs. S. So, lady immediately refuses to accept that she knows her. The narrator, for a moment, believes that she has come to a wrong address, but when she notices the lady wearing her mother's cardigan, she becomes sure that she has come to the right place. So, this is the beginning of the story where a daughter comes to her country again to take her mother's belongings back. Now, her mother is died and she's no more, but she wanted to keep some of the memories of her mother with her. So she comes in the hope that she will have some of the old belongings of her mother that she can keep forever to remember her mother. So that things were kept with another woman because they gave that belongings to that woman during the war time. Now she has come back to her country to take that belongings, but on her surprise she finds that that woman does not want to give their belongings back. So what happens next we are knowing through the story. Do you still know me? I asked. Here the daughter and the narrator asking that woman, Mrs. Darling, if she knows her. The woman looked at me searchingly. She had opened the door a chink. That means she opened a door very little. I came closer and stood on the step. In order to help that woman recognize her, she came closer to her. No, I don't know you. I am Mrs. S's daughter. Narrator introduces herself to that woman when she refuses to know her. She held her hand on the door as though she wanted to prevent it opening any further. Her face gave absolutely no sign of recognition. She kept staring at me in silence. So, with these few lines, we have known that what was the behavior of woman towards the narrator. She did not want to accept that she knows her, and she was trying to hide herself, trying not to open the door, and she was not showing any sign of recognition towards her. Perhaps I was mistaken. Then narrator thought that she was mistaken, she has come to a wrong address. I thought perhaps it isn't her. It was not the lady whom I wanted to meet. I had seen her only once, fleetingly, at a glance. Not so deeply I saw her, and that was years ago. It was most probable. Most of the probability was that I had rung the wrong bell. The woman let go of the door and stepped to the side. Now, while narrator was thinking all this, the woman stood in front of her, leaving the door, and she was standing in front of her. She was wearing my mother's green knitted cardigan. The wooden buttons were rather pale from washing. She saw that I was looking at the cardigan and half hid herself again behind the door. But I knew now that I was right. Now, looking to the cardigan of the woman, now the narrator was sure that she has reached to the right address, and that woman is the same woman whom she wanted to meet, to take her old belongings, to take her old things. Well, you knew my mother? I asked. Have you come back? Said the woman. Finally, the woman had to accept that she knows her. So she is confirming, have you come back? You and your mother, she means to say. I thought that no one had come back. Only me. The daughter is confirming to her that only I have returned, not my mother. She has died. A door opened and closed in the passage behind her. A musty smell emerged. So while both the ladies were talking, a door opened behind that woman, Mrs. Darling, and again somebody closed it. A musty smell, a rotten kind of smell emerged from that passage when it was opened. I regret I cannot do anything for you. Mrs. Darling is saying to the narrator that I could not do anything for you. I have come here specially on the train. I wanted to talk to you for a moment. Narrator is saying to the woman that she wanted to talk to that woman for a moment. It is not convenient for me now, said the woman. I can't see you. I can't meet you another time. She says her to come another time as she is busy and she can't meet her right now. She nodded and cautiously closed the door as though no one inside the house should be disturbed. So she cautiously, without making any noise, very carefully closed her door so that the other persons who were there in the house should not be disturbed, and she did not want to talk anymore to the narrator. It was clear as she was closing the door on her face. I stood where I was, on the step. The curtain in front of the bay window moved. So narrator is explaining her situation at that time. As the woman closed the door on her face, she was stood at that place only on the step, and she felt that a curtain in front of the bay window near the corridor, moved. Somebody has moved the curtain. Someone stared at me, looked at her, and would then have asked what I wanted. Somebody wanted to ask her what she wanted. Oh, nothing. The woman would have said it was nothing. So the woman already cleared to that person that it was nothing. Nobody is there. She did not want to introduce the narrator to anybody in her house. She wanted that the narrator should go back immediately as she has come. I looked at the nameplate again, Darling, it said, in black letters on white enamel. So she remembered the address again given to her by her mother, and that address was same, the name was same written on the nameplate outside in white painted plate, uh, in black letters it was written, and on the jamb on the corner of the door a bit higher the number of the house was written, number 46. As I walked slowly back to the station, I thought about my mother, who had given me the address, this address, 46 Marconi Street. She remembered that address again, she recalled that address again, years ago, which was given to her by her mother. It had been in the first half of the Second World War. I was home for a few days, and she remembers when she, at that time, when she came back to her home for a few days as she was studying somewhere else during that time, and in her vacations maybe she came home for a few days to stay with her mother, and it struck me immediately that something or other about the rooms had changed, and she realized that something has changed about the rooms of her house. I missed various things. She found that many things were missing from her house. My mother was surprised I should have noticed so quickly, and her mother was surprised on her observation that she noticed so quickly that many things were missing from her house as she was living somewhere else. So how did she notice immediately? Then she told me about Mrs. Darling. So after the narrator found in her house many things were missing. This is the past incident which she is remembering while going back to the station again. She is remembering her old days when she was very small, studying somewhere else, and came in her vacations to her house and found many things missing. She asked her mother about it, and her mother is now answering. Then she told me, her mother told her about Mrs. Darling. I had never heard of her, but apparently she was an old acquaintance of my mother, whom she hadn't seen for years. She had suddenly turned up and renewed their contact. Since since then, she had come regularly. So, as her mother told her about Mrs. Darling, she realized that she has never heard of that name, but apparently, clearly, it was clear that she was somebody known to her mother, and she came back again to her mother to renew their contact. Every time she leaves here, she takes something home with her, said my mother. She took all the table silver in one go, and then the antique plates that hung there. She had trouble lugging those large vases, and I'm worried she got a creak in her back from the crockery. My mother shook her head pityingly. I would never have dared ask her. She suggested it to me herself. She even insisted she wanted to save all my nice things. If we have to leave here, we shall lose everything, she says. This whole paragraph is an explanation given to the daughter, the narrator also, by her mother. She is remembering her past memories. This is the part of that past memories, this paragraph, when she remembers what her mother explained to her about that lady, that every time she leaves here, every time when she came to their house and when she was going back, she took something home with her from their house. Said my mother, said her mother. She took all the table silver in one go. Now she is telling the manner she was taking all the things one by one. And the reason also she told behind taking of that things by that lady, that she wanted to keep the things safe with her, as the woman and her daughter had to leave the country because they were Jews and they had fear of attack by the Nazis. So, as they had to leave the country, if they leave behind all the things uncared, nobody is there to care that things. Somebody could destroy their house and the things. So, that lady suggested the narrator's mother that she will keep all the belongings of their house with her, and they will be kept safe with her until they return back. So these all things are about that which mother is talking here, that every time she comes to their house, she takes something with her. She took all the table silver. Table silver here means the silver cutlery kept on the table in one go. In one time only she took all that cutlery, and then the antique plates that hung there. She is talking about another things now which she took. She had trouble lugging those large vases. Then she tells her that they had large big vases, flower vases, which she had trouble in carrying. And I'm worried, her mother is worried about that lady, that she got a bent in her back from the crockery which she was taking, at the things were very heavy to carry, and still she was helping them by carrying all that things to her house to keep them safe. That according to that lady. My mother shook her head pityingly. She is worried about that woman. I would never have dared ask her. Here she means to say that I would never dare to ask her to keep my things with her in order to keep them safe. She suggested it to me herself. Her mother is now saying to her daughter that that woman suggested her that I will keep all your things safe with me. She even insisted she wanted to save all my nice things. If we have to leave here, we shall lose everything, she says. Now she is telling the reason to her daughter of giving the things to that woman, that if they had to leave from there, if they had to leave the country, they are going to lose all the things. That is why that woman was so kind to keep their things with her till they return back again. Have you agreed with her that she should keep everything? I asked. This was the question by the daughter from her mother, that how did she agree to give all the things to her, as if that was necessary. My mother cried. Her mother started crying and said that it was necessary to keep all that things safely with that woman. It would simply be an insult to talk like that. It is an insult of that woman, of that lady who took all her belongings to keep them safe. It is an insult of her to talk like that about her, and think about the risk she was running. And she is trying to explain to her daughter that that woman was taking a big risk while taking all their belongings to her home. Each time she goes out of a door with a full suitcase or bag, and according to the mother, it was a big risk taking all that things in a big suitcase. So she is trying to convince her daughter that that woman have given her, or have given them a big help by carrying all that things to her house to keep them safe. So we should not talk about her in that manner, that will be an insult to her. My mother seemed to notice that I was not entirely convinced. As her mother was explaining all that things to the narrator, the daughter, her mother found that the daughter was not convinced, not satisfied with her mother's explanation of giving all that things to an unknown woman according to her. So her mother got little angry. She looked at me reprovingly. Reprovingly means scoldingly. She was angry with her daughter's behavior towards that woman, and after that we spoke no more about it. And after that, when daughter found that her mother is unhappy about talking badly about that woman, she did not try to talk anything more to her mother about that matter. That's all for today. Next part we are taking the next day. Till then, thank you. Read the chapter again and try to understand it again.